Hello. I thought I'd say a few things about the news I've heard so far today, and maybe we can turn it into something exclusively about your concerns, and I'll answer questions that you may have. I noticed with the Cotto Gottfried stream the other day, they didn't keep it up. It was Cotto on basically reading out all the comments in the live chat, and I thought it worked quite well. I think it's enormously gratifying to have one's comments read out and one's name mentioned, but I noticed the day afterwards that, well, the stream was deleted. So I try to avoid situations where my streams are deleted. I like to think I'm still able to say what I need to say without getting struck down by the hate speech rules. But then if YouTube don't follow their own rules and strike you down when you haven't broken them, I guess there's not that much you can do. But these actions can have a knock-on effect on public perception of the fairness of their particular world. What is most galling is, of course, that you are penalised for pointing out the obvious, for pointing out the truth, for using logic, because, in a way, these methods of reasoning, using truth and logic and morality, are sacred to us, even to atheists who don't. You would have thought that atheists hold nothing sacred, but actually they do. Of course, they hold their own particular views and beliefs to be sacred. So they may have they may make a point of saying, well, I'm the ultimate authority, I don't believe in God, I I acknowledge no other authority greater than my own immoral, degenerate preferences, but that's what I want to do, and that's how I wish to continue to live, to refer only to myself, my own beliefs, my own views, and I will ignore truth and logic and morality when I know I'm in conflict with them. Now you may be asking if I've seen Week in Review, and the answer is no, not really. It was mostly, I mostly sat through it as I knew I would because I was a little tired. And I don't really know what happened. I think I just caught the Duva discussing Bernie and the American, the Democratic nominations, and I think he supports Bernie. Others might think that it's probably not a good idea for Jews to support Bernie, but then I don't think anybody really knows who they are anymore and what their interests are. And that's the reason why I keep harping on about morality and religion. So, where religion is concerned, I think it's useful. It's useful for measuring the morality of people. So, I was saying in my previous stream that you can measure the integrity of a person by how much they tell lies, how irrational they are in their reasoning, and of course how willingly they accept correction. Now, whether somebody's telling the truth or not is, I think, more or less obvious to the other person. Whether they're genuinely mistaken or just stubborn or deliberately lying to you, I think most people can tell. And whether somebody's rational or not, I think even if they disagree with you, they will kind of acknowledge that you are being rational. So the other thing is really the question of morality, and of course that's subject to a lot of disagreement because people don't even talk about what morality is for, or how it is defined, and I can't seem to get a good discussion going on the subject simply because it is contentious. The only person I know who's bothered to define it is Church of Entropy, and she's not prepared to discuss these matters with me, probably because she knows she's going to lose the argument, so she's not going to engage. So her definition of morality is the minimizing of suffering. So I don't completely disagree with her view of it, but she doesn't. You see, I don't think morality is some sort of painkiller. It has a particular purpose, and you can deduce its purpose by looking to its source. So the source of morality is religion, and some might argue that the source of religion is God. But what if you're atheist or agnostic like me? You'll have to work out. You'll have to give an alternative explanation to God if you're agnostic. So obviously if you're a believer, you think, oh, well, obviously God gave us religion and I follow mine, and people who follow their religion are supposed to believe in God. But if you want to look underneath, you would think, well, religion could have been created by man to assist him in his government and politics and law, and so there was, a political purpose to religion. And I have been saying quite consistently for many years now that the distinction between religion and politics is a distinction without a difference. And obviously, our politics dictates which religions are acceptable and what we will allow from whatever religion that we are considering. In previous centuries, it was in fact illegal not to be a Christian in Europe. So we don't know then what will actually be allowed or not allowed from age to age, because habits of thinking change and new fashions of thinking are introduced with the through historical, cultural, societal change. So and then of course we have to ask ourselves how we are to deal with change. This is also political, because change comes about through changes in the law or changes in one's circumstance. So obviously we would be behaving quite differently if we were... Well, different nations have a different status. There will always be a top dog nation. There will always be a kind of weak man of the West, weak man of the East, that kind of idea. And the natural tendency in the law of the jungle is simply for the strong to oppress the weak. They will just, kill them, hurt them, take their stuff, take their females. So it has been said that man is a political animal, and we have to ask ourselves why. And obviously, if we're social animals, and indeed we are, we will be interested in the rules of society that allow us to operate. And obviously, we as individuals will find certain restrictions inconvenient, or sometimes wonder why there isn't a law against, whatever annoying thing that other people are doing. So, any human interaction will push us into thinking about politics and law. And of course, there will be a range of opinions about whether a particular law is necessary or unnecessary, and this will be in the realm of morality, which will be decided by religion. Religion is not necessarily God-given, because certain political ideologies have the effect of religion. So there have been debates about whether communism is a religion, and it's a good question, because the safest thing to say about religion is that they're all political ideologies, in that they have a particular rules of behaviour that is common to all of them. So we have 5 world religions, and officially all 5 of them are supposed to support the patriarchy and forbid extramarital sex. So that's what Judaism officially does. Same with Christianity, Islam, Hinduism and Buddhism. So that is the golden thread that runs through all these 5 world religions. And we can and then you think, oh well, they're obviously not the same, and they will have different belief systems, and Buddhism is said to be atheist, but then it's also idolatrous, because you see all these Oriental people praying to a statue of the Buddha, who may be sitting or lying down. So to any European, this is obviously idolatry. And then they might say they actually pray to them, or they might say they didn't. We don't know. We don't really know the minds of the people who practice idolatry. So, some might say, well, we're only going through the motions because it helps us concentrate our mind. We do it because we want to show solidarity with our fellow Buddhists and whatever. But, in their minds, they're just going through the motions and not actually worshipping this deity they appear to be worshipping. And it is an aid to prayer, some might say. And so you could divide these five world religions between the idolatrous versions or the non-idolatrous versions. So I suppose if you're a member of the Abrahamic faiths, you would say that the Eastern religions are in fact idolatrous, and they might deny or accept the claim. But amongst the Abrahamic faiths, there is controversy amongst them about which is the odd one out, and of course my contention is that Christianity is idolatrous, in that Christians do have statues of Mary and Jesus, and they do appear to be bowing and praying to it, even though if you ask them they say no, it's not idolatry, because idolatry is the worship of anything that isn't God, and we believe that Christ is also God. So they get round that problem. But so it is only Judaism and Islam that are officially non-idolatrous. So Christianity is the odd one out, and idolatry is the forbidden act decreed by the most powerful God of all, the Abrahamic God. It has been said that idolatry is a Jewish idea because it is Jews who have a thing about idolatry. So I'm going to go down this familiar route of saying that the tribe that is forbidden idolatry is the world's most ancient and powerful one, and those of us who are choosing a new religion or are wondering which religion to choose because our religion is kaput or not good enough, the answer is obvious. Judaism is the most powerful religion, even though it is the most restrictive. Is the answer to become Jews? Some Jews might say that, but if it is true what I say about Jews being the aristocracy of humanity, then it wouldn't be the right course of action to take, because if we were all to become Jews, then Jews would no longer be the chosen people. We would have culturally appropriated their religion, and that's not the idea, because the idea of exclusivity remains, to be chosen. So I suppose we as individuals could choose to convert to Judaism, but it's not really the idea, and Jews don't want everyone to convert to them because, well, it's a bloody nuisance, I suppose. If you have an exclusive club, you don't want everyone to join you, because the function of an exclusive club is totally different to that of a political party. So if you're a political party, and you're saying that you should be the only political party, then you would want everyone to join. So and of course that one party party would be Islam. Hello, quantum entanglement. You're new, aren't you? And you said good afternoon, which suggests that you are a bit ahead in time to me. Perhaps somewhere in the Middle East, perhaps, or the Far East. it is, we probably won't be in Australasia, where I imagine it is evening. Well, I don't imagine, I know it is evening in Australasia. Oh, hello, quantum entanglement of California. Perhaps you just misjudged my time. It is before 9 a.m. in the morning in the UK. Well, that is the time. It's 8:50 Greenwich Mean Time. I know it's very early for you, quantum entanglement. Why do you call yourself that? I think it's because you know of the history between Jen and I. You may know that I have been hidden from posting in her chat. But of course, I'm not so petty that I would dream of doing such a thing to her out of spite. But this is how she rolls. She's probably, no, I know this to be true. She doesn't want me posting in her chat. She doesn't, it's not me that she censors. She censors lots of people, and you will have noticed that the people who post in her chat are basically new people. I think she's also blocked me. So that is her extent of her spite and pettiness. She can't debate me. She can't even, on her stream, deal with the points I raise, and that's why she has to go overboard in censorship, and then she encourages her mods to go mad. And if you read them, it's actually quite dull, and I haven't actually heard it yet because it just seemed so terribly dull. Even though with the best will in the world, I fell asleep. So from what I can remember, David wanted to talk about the coronavirus, and he wanted to talk about the Democrat nomination, and he obviously supported Bernie, and that's basically all I know about what was being said. Apparently Gandalf would not join in on the some topic anyway. So, and why do I go there? Because every now and then you get a few gems from Duvid. So, and I guess it is the biggest gathering, and in my alt-right community, and it stays up, and I don't think it stays that decent, but I guess it gets by on the hate speech rules. So that some standards are imposed. It is a shame that people don't have that sense of honour in being able to debate honestly without taking to draconian acts of censorship, because they don't want to climb down from the ridiculous positions that they take. Are Jen's positions ridiculous? Well, she's obviously created a religion that she claims is it would be better for the West to embrace, but she has no followers, and her position is basically incoherent. And I suppose if she were decent and rational, she would become a secular Quranist, but she won't, because she's pandering to a view that I would term as anti-Semitic and Islamophobic. And of course there is a market for that, because there is a well-established correlation between those who between anti-Semitism and bad government. And I think I have more or less established it, that it's almost like a physical law that anti-Semitism increases the more the Gentile feels in distress from the oppression meted out to him by his government. And there is a sense of increasing rage, really, that they are not, that their government in their Gentile nation is preferring everyone else but the white, indigenous, heterosexual male. Why are they doing it? Why is the government, doing this? It doesn't make any sense, because obviously the government is very nervous, and that is why it is exercising these draconian acts of censorship in the way Church of Entropy is. Because, she can't deal with my arguments, and even with, given time, she's been given, quite a few months to answer my questions, and she basically can't, so she would rather not see them posted or, asked either by me or other people who want her to answer those questions. And of course this is really ultimately unsustainable, and this will cause greater neurosis and greater censorship, and of course ultimately people will just go to where their preferences are being prioritized. Now you will say, well, nobody comes here to my streams. I know I fall between two stools of being the moderate, and nobody's interested in moderation or truth or logic, because they would rather hold on to their positions, and political opinion is very polarised now between the in the UK it would be the Remainers and the Leavers. In the UK would be the Trump supporters and the anti-Trump people. But really I would divide these two camps into people who support the patriarchy and the people who don't. And I know that there's lots of people in the alt-right who don't really get the patriarchy, but what they want without undergoing the restrictions of the patriarchy is the same. So basically I'm saying that those who don't like my ideas because it involves depriving themselves of what the sexual freedom that they would like is okay. What I'm trying to say is that they basically want the fruits and rewards of living in a patriarchy without having to undergo the restrictions and sacrifices of it. So they want to have their cake and eat it, and doesn't everyone else? I mean, Jews want to be good Jews and good liberals, so they want to fit in and enjoy the culture of sexual liberation and be called good Jews. And is that sustainable? I'm basically saying that no, it's not. And but of course they don't want to hear that, and that is why I'm not currently part of the orthodoxy. Will I one day be part of the orthodoxy? Who knows? I think the situation is fluid. It's developing all the time. And I think the key to any success I might enjoy in the future is to be consistent and not change my message just because others want me to change my message because they have tired of it. I know that while I can be very entertaining, I'm not actually a program of entertainment. So obviously people who disagree with me should debate with me. But they're too intellectually deficient or neurotic to do so, and so they just gather in their own little echo chambers and hug boxes in order to agree with each other and say, what a terrible person I am and how unpopular my views are. But I think one of the reasons why truth and logic is considered over the ages so, sacred even to atheists is the fact that the truth protects us from error and disaster. And I know there are people who, have spent their lives denying truth, thinking that because nothing too bad has happened, that they will continue getting away with it. But that would be merely to say that just because something bad hasn't happened, that it never will, and that isn't logical at all. What do I think about the coronavirus? Well, I'm really refusing to panic buy. I'm sticking to my position that it's a storm in a teacup, and even if it wasn't, if it was the equivalent of the bubonic plague, and a third of Europe is going to die of it, life still has to go on. And as we know, even after the bubonic plague, people tried to get on with their lives, albeit in reduced numbers. Because we can't really be staying home the whole time and self-isolating and hoping to get sick pay paid. Eventually people will get sick of it and they will tire of being in a state of panic all the time, and life will just go back to normal. Slowly, but slowly. And this will be a is there anything good about the coronavirus? I think, every silver lining has a cloud and every cloud has a silver lining, and we are to make the best of things, really. So I've seen lots of pictures of videos of China, like all these Chinese people on a train, completely covered in their blue whatever, wearing masks, sleeping on the train and with a nearly empty carriage, and then the highway just completely denuded of traffic, and you think, well, that's capable of being enjoyed. Let's go for a drive, let's go on a train ride, and see the world, see China without the crowds. So I haven't had the pleasure of going to the supermarket within. Well, actually, I did go on Thursday and it was fine. So we get a mixture of different news, like, oh, the shelves are empty, and then people saying, actually, it's fine. It might. It's not a problem. The supermarkets are managing their stocks very well. Don't panic buy toilet paper. And actually, I think a few of us know that There are alternatives to toilet paper. There are, after all, free newspapers out there. I don't know if you get free newspapers in your part of the world, but certainly where I am, there's a whole bunch of free newspapers, and if we run out of toilet roll, well, there we are. And I think, well, if I really run out, well, maybe I should go on a kind of diet or something, So I'm refusing to panic buy. I'm refusing to tell anyone to panic buy. My position remains that people will just get tired of it, and then the government will think, oh, this is so tedious, we can't put people on permanent red alert the whole time, and what if people pop off? And it is still, elderly people with pre-existing conditions who pop off. And they've had their innings, haven't they? And eventually the government will say, oh, it's probably all right for you to just carry on as normal. It's a few of us may die, but, there will be just people who will be already elderly. They've been around for quite long enough. And a Scottish nurse, well, she was in, I don't know, but anyway, it was Professor June Andrews, and she's saying, the coronavirus will get rid of a few bed blockers, and that will be, the silver lining as I see it. And she was immediately attacked on social media, but I think what she said was very helpful indeed. We should look on the bright side of things. Or even the bright side of the world coming to an end. You get all these religious Jews saying, oh, the Messiah's coming, yay. And you think, yeah, because they want to not have to deal with all these sort of difficult questions that I ask them. So the Messiah coming means that, all the bad people will be dead, and they don't have to deal with, questions about how to deal with the bad people. They don't have to think about, whether the no-hide laws involve executing Gentiles who live in Israel for sodomy, blasphemy, and idolatry. That's what they hope, anyway. And I think God, if he exists, will be playing this trick on us, who's saying, yeah, we're going to make you think. I'm going to make you think that the world is going to end tomorrow, and then you do all these crazy things, and then he'll say, ha, it's not ended. You have to tidy up the mess that you made yesterday. You have to pay for all your sins. Great cat. Yeah, very funny, he says. A bunch of millionaire Jewish politicians in the USA might get coronavirus at the Israel Lobby Convention. I don't want you to delete anyone's comments. 0. So don't do it again, okay? I think the best thing to do is just remove people who don't get it. Hello, Jen. How are you? How did it go? How did it go on Week in Review? I only caught the end. I think you were about to show some video of me, and it didn't happen or something. Because your clip got stuck. Citizen Reporter says I actually have asked difficult questions of Jews about the no-hide laws. In fact, I asked Jews, rabbis, to prove that the Quran is not no-hide observant. And then they're basically saying, I don't have to read it, I don't want to read it, I've been told not to read it. And anyway, I don't have to. So they're kind of doing the Gen thing, which is annoying. I am trying to remove 0, actually. For some reason the thing isn't quite working. Let me try again. Oh, I can't do it for some reason. Oh, maybe I should clear my cookies. That's what it's suggesting. Alright, I'll clear my cookies. If I can remember how to do it. Settings, I think. Yeah. Why is Eric asking me if I have the coronavirus? Do I sound as if I have coronavirus? Are you hoping that I have it? Dr. Mengele asks, what's my definition of anti-Semitism? I would say, obviously if you don't like Jews, but we have to ask ourselves, what is the cause of anti-Semitism? So, I mean, okay, we'll just assume that we should be suspicious of people who are cleverer than us, who come from another religion, who have another religion and who are cleverer than us. So the instinct, I guess, is to not trust them, and even people who are, the same race or the same religion, you might, they might not be trustworthy either. So, what is your reason for disliking Jews? And I think it's because you think they have one over you because they're smarter and they have their own in-group preference and a distinct group. So you have to ask yourself why you dislike them. So, is his suspicion healthy or correct? Why not assume that people are out to get you if you're suffering from bad from bad stuff from your government, and of course you will think, oh, Jews are privileged, the government protects them, they are part of the government, they are always complaining and using their victimhood to gain privilege over us. And then you can say, yeah, and they seem to own or have a lot of money, and they are obviously influential, and our government kowtows to them. And look at APAC, and I can see that you might have certain suspicions of these people, and but I've given you the alternative explanation, which is that Christianity is kaput and democracy is dementia, and you're basically saying you don't want to accept any correction. And I guess that will be the problem. You're saying Christianity has been perfect. There's nothing wrong with Christianity, but then you're not being really rational, because the whole point of religion is to protect you from other groups coming to subvert you and harm you. So why has Christianity failed? It is because you're no longer Christian anyway. You're liberal, and your whole political ideology is the promotion of sexual liberation. Oh, I don't know if anything's happening with my stream. It seems to be saying it's on and off at the same time. No, it seems to be going on. I'm getting more posts in the chat. What is a question that you don't think I have answered? Dr. Megalay asks, it's been critical of Israel's foreign policy, anti-Semitic. I'm actually saying, hate Jews if you want, express hatred for Jews if you want, as long as you're prepared to defend your point of view. So if you want to do it, then your freedom to do so should be absolutely protected, but you will be forced to defend your view in a public arena. You can't just say, oh, Jews are this and that, and then you run away, and you're never forced to give further and better particulars of your accusation. So, for me, you can say you hate me, and as long as you're prepared to engage, you're not allowed to say you hate me and then go away and say I've won the argument when you haven't. So, but I think a lot of people think they can get away with this kind of tactic. People like Jen. Well, Erica, I occasionally get a bit bunged up, and I guess this is one of those sort of times when I do feel a bit bunged up. So Citizen Reporter says they're not more clever, they're more willing to be unethical to get what they want. I mean, how can you tell whether it's one or the other? I'm saying everybody's unethical, everybody doesn't follow their own rules, and that's why the rule of law is breaking down, and that's why you're blaming Jews, and they're supposed to be, they're not supposed to be being liberal, so they're breaking their own rules. Can they be told? The fact is there are more liberal Jews than there are observant Jews, so that's going to be a problem, right? Just because by having an overwhelming majority you will intimidate others into silence. Yeah, I'm trying to do this thing with the moderators. I can't seem to do it now. I can do it later, I guess. So, what is a question that you don't think I've answered, Erica? Well, Citizen Reporter, I'm happy to join you, but you kind of say let's do a stream, and then you never do. No, Zero seems to have left the stream anyway. Did you want to come on now, Erica? So yeah, I would allow anyone to express hatred of any other group, provided they don't incite crime and violence against them. And of course, it would have to be done, with well, how would I manage it? I think what would happen is that there would be a special channel for these debates to go on. So anybody who says I really feel this or that about the government or whatever, and I really, really want to say it, and then okay, you can say it, and your rights will be protected. You can do so. Shall I allow anonymity? But it's like, okay, anonymity as regards. I don't know, but anyway, I haven't thought it through yet. But people should be allowed to say whatever they if they want to make accusations, they should be allowed to make accusations, and the person accused should have the right to defend themselves and have an equally loud voice as their accuser. So if you're being accused of something terrible by some politician, as a group or even as an individual, I suppose an individual gets to go to court and sue in defamation if they think that what has been said about them is untrue. Groups also need a representative to say, to defend themselves against unfair, untrue, malicious, false accusations. So that seems fair enough to me, but obviously, if you're going to be like that, you will have to declare yourself and not sort of hide in the shadows. So Hitler, I guess, he was quite open about. Was he open about it? I don't know. Did I hear all his speeches? I don't know. He actually didn't say that much about Jews in Mein Kampf. I mean, apart from saying he didn't care if they all died, and I thought that was completely, all right. There's lots of, people that you wouldn't care if they if they died, right? That I'm sure a lot of people say, well, I wouldn't care if all the alt-right died. I wouldn't care if all the communists died. So, whatever they said has to be examined quite carefully. Do we have a right not to care if, entire groups and races of people died? Yeah, I think we do. Who is the government to say, oh, no, you've got to care about, these people and those people, and it's like, yeah, it's your right not to care. But obviously you mustn't incite violence against them. So, within these parameters, I think political debate can take place. And citizen reporter, you never ask your question properly, so it can never be answered properly. Are the majority of my supporters hardcore Jews? I mean, who's hardcore? Can you name a hardcore Jew? Citizen reporter? So yeah, I'd be quite happy to talk to you. Maybe you want the link now. I don't know what's happened with the picture. As far as I can tell, you're still posting, so the stream is still live. Or shall I start another stream? It says here 7 people watching. I mean, am I bothered about few people? It's still the same people. And occasionally I still get new people. Should I worry? I think in absolute terms, probably not. I think, people already know where to find me if they want me. And I guess they're sort of messing around with my channel or getting, it is to demoralise me, and I refuse to be demoralised. Oh yeah. Well, I don't know what's happening to the computer. The stream is live, but my avatar is not. So I guess I'll finish the stream. Nobody seems to be asking me any questions. Oh, I've got somebody new, somebody called Henry Claymore, who says prostitution shouldn't be accepted lightly. Should it be accepted heavily? What do you mean by accepting prostitution lightly? And who is this Ehor that you're talking about, Henry Claymore? Now, let let me see if I have finished what I planned to say to you all. I think I have, really. So I'm going to try and sum up what I think I said, which is that there is a law of morality that is linked to cause and effect. The anti-Semitism is linked to how badly the Gentile feels about his government, i.e., the more badly governed the Gentile is, the more he will hate Jews. Do Jews have a duty to improve the government of Gentiles all over the world? And the answer is yes, because they are God's chosen people, chosen to no-hidize the world, and obviously they'll they have to do their duty, or anti-Semitism will increase, and that's what they have to do. Do they know that that's what they have to do? I hope so. I've said so enough times. But they don't seem to realise it. It's like, who, me? Why are you looking at me? We're so completely powerless. We don't know anything. I know nothing, and we don't. And it goes back to the question of politics. It's just that whether Jew or Gentile, we all have our political views, and obviously we should be allowed to speak freely, within reason, about what's bothering us, and the policy of draconian censorship of the matriarchy is very unwise. And obviously these rules need to be revised, and I'm very happy to be a kind of honest broker, and I'm hoping that eventually my role in this will be acknowledged. And Dr. McLeay asks the same question again. Is being critical of Israel anti-Semitic? And I'm saying I don't care. You're only criticising Israel because you don't like Jews, so you'll find any excuse to criticise them. And I'm saying, yeah, go ahead and criticise Israel, but Israel is an American colonial outpost, and it's not what it's really supposed to be, because what it's supposed to be is already stated quite clearly in the Torah, which is about its borders, and for Israel to be what it's supposed to be according to God, it has to be a theocracy, and it would have to be a theocracy that is Quran based rather than Torah based. And this is what I tell Jews, and they don't like me for saying that, and then they refuse to argue about it. So it's not just Gentiles who run away from me. There are plenty of Jews who don't like the issues I raise. So I think I've said enough now, and because of all the problems on my computer, I guess I'll say goodbye for now. Thank you all for listening.